Hey storytellers! Have you ever wanted to create your own interactive choose your own adventure story but you didn't know where to start? Or maybe you're into game design and want to experiment with non-linear narratives? Well, in today's video we're diving into a powerful but yet super user-friendly tool called Twine. Twine is a free open software tool that lets you create interactive stories and games without needing to know how to code. It's perfect for writers, game developers, and anyone who wants to explore narrative design. Whether you're a complete beginner or an experienced writer looking for a new medium, Twine gives you the creative freedom to bring your stories to life. Let's get into it.
So, what exactly is Twine? Twine was first released in 2009, so it's been around for a long time now. It's open source and best of all, it's free. Twine is a tool that helps you create interactive stories with branching paths, choices, and consequences. You can think of it as a way to write a story that allows your readers or players to make decisions that change the outcomes of the story. You might have seen popular Twine games like Depression Quest or Her Story, which have used Twine's simplicity to create a deep emotional experience. And the best part, you don't need to be a programmer to use it. But if you do know some basic programming or learn it, you can extend Twine's functionality even further.
Alright, let's dive into the fun stuff. How to actually get started with Twine.
First, head over to the Twine website at twinery.org to download the desktop version, or use the browser-based version, whatever works for you. But I do not recommend using the browser-based version, since if you delete your cookies, you lose all the work you've done. I strongly recommend using the desktop version. So, go ahead and download that, and once you've got it installed and opened, you'll see a simple, clean interface. Trust me, it's super easy to navigate. Now, let's create your first story. Click on New and give your story a title. It has to be a very cool and important title, remember that. As you can see with me. What you'll see next is a blank canvas, with your story's starting point represented by a little box called a passage. Each passage is like a section of your story. This is where you'll write your scenes or narrative blocks. Writing in Twine is as easy as typing in a text editor. You just need to click on a passage, type your story, and you're good to go. But here's where Twine gets really cool. Twine is all about choice. To create a branching path or a decision point in your story, you just need to add a link between passages. For example, let's say your character just entered a tavern. You can write, "You just entered a noisy tavern. Do you buy a drink or listen to gossip?" By putting the choices in the brackets, as you can see in the text, Twine automatically creates links to new passages. When someone clicks buy a drink or listen to gossip, it'll take them to the next part of the story based on their choice. Pretty awesome, right? You can keep adding as many passages and choices as you like, making your story as simple or as complex as you want. And to immerse the user even more, you can manipulate the text in all sorts of ways. You can color your text and background, rotate the text, and with a little coding, you can even add music, images, and if you want, an inventory system, and so much more. A thing I might have failed to mention is what is this little rocket. This rocket means where your story starts. You can set this to any passage you want, but usually it's the top one because that's where your story starts. And if you ever want to test what you've actually written or made, you press this button as you saw in the video just before, test from here. This puts you into a HTML document where you can see you just entered a noisy tavern. What do you want? Buy an orange on the head drink or listen to gossip? And if you press any of these, you move on to the next phase, where right now we don't have anything, that's why it's empty, but you can keep building from there.
Well done! You now know the fundamentals of Twine. Now if you want to take things a bit further, or maybe even to the next level, Twine also lets you use variables and conditions to make your stories dynamic. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. I'll give you one example right now.
You can track things like inventory, character stats, or even hidden paths. For example, you can create a variable that tracks how many coins a player has, and only let them proceed if they have enough. For example, I've done this in our small story. As you can see, I first created a variable called coins, and I've then given the user 5 coins. If you try and then buy a drink, I've updated it so that it shows how much it costs. Oh no, we cannot afford this. To show this, I've created 2 scenarios. One if he has enough money, and one if it does not. This is just one small example of what you can do. The imagination really do set the limit in this scenario. One great tool to use is the Twine cookbook. It has a lot of help stored inside of it, much more than what I can cover in this short video. Go explore if you ever get hooked. Once you're happy with your cool story, it's time to share it with the world. Twine lets you export your project as an HTML file, which you can upload to a website, share with friends, or even distribute as a standalone game. It really is that simple. Your interactive story can now be played in any web browser. Before we wrap up, here's a couple of quick tips. First, keep your structure clear and organized, especially if you're working on a complex narrative with lots of branches. Twine's visual map makes this easier, but it can still get very messy if you're not careful. Second, don't be afraid to experiment. Whatever you want to create, a short, simple story or sprawling narrative, Twine is all about exploration. I would love to hear about what you made in the comments. And lastly, if you want to learn more advanced Twine tricks, check out the Twine cookbook, which we talked about before. It's full of tutorials on how to use variables, CSS styling, and even JavaScript to enhance your stories. And that's it for today's video. I hope you're as excited as I am about Twine and all the amazing stories you can create with it. Whether you're writing for fun, creating a game, or even using it as a teaching tool, Twine is an incredible platform that puts the power of interactive storytelling in your hands. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on storytelling, game design and creative writing. I'm also doing a lot of different things, game related, game development, all that stuff, and please let me know in the comments what kind of stories you're going to create with Twine, or what other kind of videos you would love to see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy storytelling, guys.